surprisingly, you got no net hits.
Yeah, at least I didn't take any damage this time.
Did either of the gangers drop a gun when they fell unconscious?
They didn't drop one. The guy who was talking to Yonkers, the one who was doing all the talking, he dropped a knife on the ground that he was holding.
Okay. Well, Davros already has a knife, so he's not gonna pick that up.
Yonkers will pick up a knife.
Davros is gonna say to both of them, he's gonna, hey, I mean, you said people are gonna be here soon. Should we go and like talk to the owner? I mean, what do we need to do?
Search the bodies. I'll go in and have a talk.
Okay.
Case will walk in behind Yonkers, and on his way in, he's going to throw a format device on the guy's comm link.
And Davros is gonna search the bodies, see if he can find anything useful.
And Hauser is none the wiser.
They each have just a regular knife. They're also each carrying a pistol.
Any kind of do or anything like that? Tread sticks or anything like that?
Looks like they each have 50 new yen on them. They also are each carrying a dose of cram.
I will take all of that, even though as a young, responsible college student, I don't know what cram is.
The pistols that they're carrying are Browning Ultra Powers.
Which also means nothing to Davros.
Format device. Go ahead and just roll the computer plus logic real fast.
Do they have wallets on them?
No.
Sorry, it's not rolling.
Alright, well, when you go inside the store, it's a nice little place. You immediately are met with the characteristic smells of a lore store or talismonger shop. Incense is in the air. There's arcane symbols and nice artistic and natural elements all over the place. It looks like it's been decorated with various elements to represent all the different common magical traditions. There's sections for hermeticism and shamanism of all different types of totems, and even, other less common forms of magical tradition, like maybe Taoism or Zoroastrianism or whatnot. It's all very, very interesting to Davros. He's probably in the throes of studying all these different traditions in school right now. You also notice that behind the counter of the store, towards the front, is a young, pretty-looking orc woman. She has short tusks, and as you walk in, she politely and nicely, a little bit nervously, as she probably witnessed what happened outside, says, welcome to Rasputin's Secret.
I'm here to speak with the proprietor. Yonkers will say while adjusting his coat and making sure that there's no blood on his cuffs.
Oh, yes, you wanna speak to, Shankar. He's in the back right now. Hold on just a second. She presses a button on the little, she whips out her comlink, sends a little text, and a moment later, a man comes out. He's on the screen, on the map for Roll20. He looks like, if you're familiar with Jean Reno, the actor, he looks like him, but a little bit more Indian, actually.
Good evening. I will address him in Spirithial. Good evening, friend of the forest.
He recognizes that you're speaking Spirithial, but he says, I don't speak Spirithial.
My most sincere apologies. Mr. DeGear sent me. You'll have to forgive me. I noticed that you had some rubbish on your out front of your shop. I took it upon myself to clean up.
Oh yes, I appreciate it. He looks very nervous, and his face looks terrible. He's got bruises and cuts on his face. He's also wearing a sling on his left arm and holding a crutch and limping very, very badly. With his right arm is the crutch, and he says, "Yes, please come into my office here, and we can speak." He leads you into his office and asks you, I hope you don't mind if I sit down?
By all means, I would never think to dictate to you what a man could do in his own establishment.
He bows his head and he sits down. Oh yes, I'm very grateful that Mr. De Geer sent you over. Oh, you have no idea how much trouble I've been having lately. I'm just a man who's trying to make a living in his shop, and I just opened up not too long ago, and all I want to do is continue and run my shop in peace, and I can't even do that.
What kind of trouble are you having, mister?
Well, it wasn't too long. It started a couple of weeks ago, and these fire snakes, they started showing up and and started harassing my customers and coming inside and harassing my store clerk outside Kumaya, and 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 it started getting worse and worse. They would come in and knock things off the shelf, and now they spend their time outside selling drugs, and you see, it's all very bad for business. People don't want to come by here, and one day I come out and I say to them that I need them to leave, that they are ruining the business. I was fed up, and I was tired of their threats, and I told them, oh, probably a bad idea. Now I know this, but I told them that if they did not leave, I would call knight errant, and they didn't like that, I guess, because that night so many of them came, and when I came out of my store to lock up, they beat me senselessly, and he starts to sort of sob.
I see. Well, I do not worry. You did a good thing by going to Mr. De Geer. This will
Yes,
be taken care of shortly.
yes, I did not know what to do. I certainly was not going to call knight errant after they attacked me. They threatened me, told me that if I called anyone that, oh, it's not a good situation, and now, while I do appreciate your help, now they know I've called somebody, I'm sure, or maybe not, maybe not. Did you tell them why you were here, or what happened outside?
Oh, they just simply got in my way. Do not fret or worry yourself. This will all be taken care of promptly.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Let's head on over to real fast. Let's head on over to haunted house. You drive back, and the barricade is still set up in the middle of the road in Puyallup.
Okay, as I'm driving, I want to activate the chameleon coat on my truck and change the coloring and the logo to show Mothers of Metahumans, MOM, which is a known pro-metahuman nonprofit that works in the Western Hemisphere.
The barricade is still there, and you do end up having to stop, and they walk up to the window and knock on it, just like they did before.
Okay, at this point, I unbuckle and you know, I put my hands where they can see them and say, "Hey, I'm gonna get out of the vehicle, okay?" And I slowly exit the vehicle and say, "Hey, I really appreciate you being so kind to us, but apparently there was a mix-up. I thought I had paid, but it was this other checkpoint on the other end of Puyallup, so I'm here to settle the bill."
Yeah, yeah. What happened back there, man? Because I don't know why. I guess I was just confused. So you wait a minute. You're coming back here to pay the toll?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to pay the toll if you want to use the road, and I want to use the road, so I'm going to pay the toll. And I mean, you notice that slick trick I pulled with my truck? Doesn't even look like the same kind of truck that you saw blow through a minute ago, does it?
Huh. That's that is a pretty slick trick.
Look here, I'm just trying to say, hey, you know, I have a little bit of an accent. I'm not from the Metroplex, but I'm willing to do business, and I want to keep you, from getting heat from your buddy. So I'll pay the toll, 100 million. You said I'll give you $50, your personal cred stick on the side. You go buy everybody around when this is over, and smooth things over. But I told you I'm willing to run merchandise. I show you it's my truck. My truck can look like whatever kind of truck you need it to look like. And so toll is paid and everybody's happy, and Yeah, you have a comlink number I can call you, and find out maybe a week from now, maybe 2 weeks, if you have anything you need moved.
That's a pretty slick trick you got there, man. Yeah, okay. He takes the 100 new yen from you, and he kind of juts his hand out to you to shake it, and he says, "The name's Torgen."
Ah, wunderbar. Good to meet you, Torgen. My name is Hauser. Everybody calls me Haunted House on account of I'm so damn freaky.
Haunted house. I like that, and I like you, man. You're a real stand-up guy.
Okay, so money's paid, and now we know each other, so it's all good. I do a lot of business here in Puyallup, especially in vicinity of crime mall. So if you have anything you need moved, either here in the neighborhood or across town somewhere else, you let me know, and we'll figure out what you need to move, how much, and where it's gonna go, and then we talk business at that point.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely give you a call sometime. Consider yourself from here on out a friend of the Ravagers.
The Ravagers, whew, sounds tough. Well, the Ravagers can consider themselves friends of the haunted house, so don't worry, no ghosts or zombies or goblins come get you when the haunted house comes.
Just remember the Ravagers, the toughest orc gang this side of the Salish.
Sounds good, man, yeah? Talk to you soon, yeah?
Yeah, man. And he sticks his hand out again and shakes it real hard, and he lets you go.
After giving him a firm handshake, Hauser climbs back into the cab and starts up the truck and starts to turn around and drive back off in the direction of the Talismonger shop.
All right, you head back. So you'll have a couple of minutes before House shows up. Or actually, House, you show up and you see two gangers that are sitting on the curb, and actually they're kind of like bloodied and walking away now as you walk up and head inside.
After parking the truck and locking it once I get out, I kind of look off in their direction before heading into the shop to meet up with the others. I'm going to do just a straight physical perception just to see if there are any other vehicles within a 2-block radius of the shop.
All right, go ahead and roll a perception test. Would make you.
Yeah, I got 3 successes.
You don't see anything that would make you think that anybody is hanging out on the street or anything that, watching or anything.
Okay, then, as I walk in, I say, hey fellas, sorry I had to do a loop around the block to find a parking space, but I took care of the toll, and we're all good to go on the way out as soon as business is done.
Wonderful. I believe we were just getting done with our conversation here with the proprietor. Maybe I'll go outside, have a talk with our 2 little hoodlums.
Oh no, I'm afraid they've skulked off to go lick their wounds, and doesn't look like there's anybody here on the block taking a look-see or going to pick them up. So if you want to go chase them, they're on foot, but they're not out front anymore.
I toss Case a look, and then one at House, and House, can you get my bag somewhere I can grab it easy if I need it? I think I'm going to go take a walk.
Yeah, sure. I put it in the passenger seat up front, and I'll leave that door unlocked.
So, well, I've got one of theirs. As long as he didn't ditch that comm link, I can kind of tell you where they're at or going. So I'll keep track of them here. I've got their icon on. I'm on a track and track down that icon right now.
I can always keep an eye in the sky on him if you'd like.
Sounds good. Walk me home. And Yonkers will start taking a brisk pace towards the door that will turn into a light jog. And he's going to try and use his urban know-how to, and hopefully the blood puddles that these kids are leaving as they're walking away, to follow after them at a distance. and kind of shadow them.
Yeah, they're not far away. You can see them out the door down about a block away once you get outside. You don't want to let them know that you're following them?
Try and tail them without them being aware that I'm tailing them.
I think that falls under the purview of sneaking.
Is that tracking?
It's not going to be hard to follow them. I'm not going to make you roll a tracking roll. But the sneaking portion of it would be them not seeing you.
Yonkers is really sneaky with 5 successes.
So you're able to follow them. They head down the road several blocks. I mean, they're going for a while, and after they go about four or five blocks, I'd say, somebody else pulls up and lets them into a car and kind of drives off.
Can I get a plate off it?
Oh, there's no license plate.
Okay, I want to continue tracing the icon. I can make the roll if you need me to.
You're in VR, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be able to follow that no problem. Now, once it gets to its location, roll a simple computer plus intuition for a trace icon just to be able to identify the location where it is.
5.
All right, that's enough successes to consider that easy. It's not far away at all, actually. Probably 4 blocks away. In fact, when they got picked up, they were probably only about 2 or 3 blocks away. But they're about 4 blocks away now. There's a house out there.
House here. I got their location. If you want to put an eye on the above them, we can keep an eye on them that way.
Yeah, sure.
Send
Give me the location, and I'll go ahead. For right now, I will. I'll just send my drone over there and set up a live feed. If you need something further, I can go ahead and jump in directly. But I think it'd be fine now just to set up a kind of a passive feed.
Shankar says to you, Haunted House, he says, please, if you don't mind, I would like it if somebody could stay at the shop. At least somebody to, in case they come back, they will come back.
I tell you what, Meinherr, I personally will stay at the shop with you, and I will send my mechanical minions to go with my colleagues here. Are you okay with my truck staying parked out front?
Yes, that's not a problem.
Okay, well, let me handle this and take care of my friends here, and then you and me can discuss where you would like me to be to help put your mind at ease.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So once Case tells Hauser the location that he's tracked the gangers to, I'm going to take my RCC and fire up the autosoft for maneuvering the fly spy as well as the clearsoft so that it can do perception checks on its own. And once those autosofts are loaded up and I slave it to my RCC, I'm going to give it the location and remotely control it to fly out to that area from the front of the shop.
And Case is just going to set his agent onto track the icon and just send a notification if it moves.
Hey, House.
Yeah, what's up, Yonkers?
Make sure you have the car running. I might need it to drop by so I can pick up some stuff out of it.
Okay, I left the front passenger door unlocked. I'll go ahead, I'll start the ignition. Do you want me to drive within 1 block of where you're located and just have the car idling?
Yeah, maybe. I'll let you know if I needed to stop by so I can do a pickup.
Okay, well, I rev the engine now, and you just give me the word and I hit that pedal.
Alright, how far am I from the, our boys?
They're about 2 blocks away from Yonkers' location now.
Alright, yeah, just, send the car. I'll wait where I am.
Okay, as another remote action, I'm going to activate the ignition on my truck through my pan, and I'm going to give it the directions to shift into drive and to maneuver up towards Yonkers' location.
Before you do that, Davros is going to say, "Hold on a second," and he's going to go run and jump in the car so he can go over there. Before he does that, he's going to grab a piece of paper lying around, write his number down, and give it to Kumaya, and say, "Hey, call me sometime." And then he's going to run out to the car.
She smiles shyly.
The apple does not fall far from the tree. I remember Herr Malibu doing quite the same thing just 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, it only required 5 more bottles of vodka than this kid's had.
All right, Yonkers, so I have the car started up. It looks like our wizard friend is going to be coming along with it in case you need backup.
Good stuff. Kid can give me a layout of the inside.
All right, well, the van pulls up, and it's there with a young 20-year-old mage inside of it.
All right, open up the passenger door, root around inside, grab out the Mossberg and the silencers for the 2 pistols Jonkers is carrying. Look over at the kid real quick. Hey, kid, you carrying any heat?
Just in my hands. You know, it's all I need.
Yeah, right. You know which end of this makes the loud noises?
I've seen a few on TV. On the Trid.
Right. Yonkers reaches into the bag, tosses him his street line special. That's got 1 mag in it. Don't blow your hands off or your head.
Well, hey, Mr. Yonkers, I've got these. I don't really know what they are, but I got them off those gangers outside, and he's gonna hand Yonkers the Browning Ultra Powers.
All right. This was a little bit bigger than I wanted to give you, but yeah. Here, give me my thing back. Use one of these. At least, yeah. All right. So here's the game plan. You're going to. I want you to tell me what's inside that place. How many of them there are. If there's anybody who's active, or how much chrome I might be running up against.
All right. So Davros is going to astrally project and then go scout out the building. So what kind of building is it?
So you recognize the car that was there, or at least Yonkers does recognize the car that was there. There's several other cars outside, and it's a pretty large house. When you follow them in to that area, the area is sort of an old residential neighborhood that's pretty run down now. It's not uninhabited. There are plenty of people who live there. It's just a pretty run down part of, well, it's not a rundown part of the Barrens. The Barrens is just run down, so it's a pretty large 2-story house.
Okay. All right. So can he get in the house and look around?
Yeah, you can.
All right. I'm gonna do that and just see if how many people are inside.
Roll a perception test for me.
Okay. Rolling 6 die. 2 successes.
Well, you do notice that there is a magically active person in there, and they're not currently an astral threat, so you're able to get around and count up the number of people there, and there's about 13 gang members that are all hanging out in this house right now.
Okay. And I don't think I can tell if there's any sort of cyberware or anything from the astral plane, can I?
You'd have to sense people.
I mean, I don't want to like avail myself to the the mage in there, but can I just do like a general sensing of the kind of the whole group? Not like very in depth, but just enough to see if anybody's like super cybered out.
You can try to randomly pick someone if you'd like.
No, I guess I can just go person by person, but I just won't sense the magically active person.
All right, give me Instead of going person by person, give me a general sensing roll.
All right, rolling 11 die, 3 successes.
Okay. Now roll your edge.
Okay. 3 die, rolling, and got 1 success.
Alrighty. So you're looking around. You notice that two of the people that are nobody really has any cyberware except two of the people. Two of the people do have cyberware. All right, let's see. So you're able to see that they're a healthy person. They're not particularly emotional for any reason. They're most. I've already told you most of them are mundane, except for the one guy. He's got some cyberware in his hands. His essence is lower than yours.
So the mage has cyberware in his hands.
No, you said you weren't sensing the mage.
All right, so just one of the two people has cyberware in the hands.
Both of those two people have cyberware in one of their hands.
Gotcha. All right, and so is that all?
That's correct.
Okay. So is it? You said it's 2 stories, and so is the 13 people in both stories, or is that just the bottom floor?
Yeah, they're just generally it's 13 people throughout the whole building. You know, doing their various own things, hanging out in the living room. You know, napping, whatever.
Okay, I will return to my body and give Yonkers the update. And so, just, all right, hey, Mr. Yonkers. All right, so I think there's 13 people in there. I think one guy is magically active, so I didn't try to get too close to him or anything. But I did see 2 of the people had some cyberware in one of their hands. So, I don't know what that means, but it only looks like there was 2 of the people that had cyberware.
I see. I go over TeamSpeak or click on the comm. So we got 13, what looks like 13 gangers hanging out in a squat. So how do we want to play this? Do we want to try our hand at diplomacy first, or do we just go in kicking doors in and make the message clear that way?
I think it depends on how strong of a message you wish to send.
Well,
I think
Hey,
the
kid,
diplomacy is just going to give them time to set up.
yeah, that is my concern. It's always easier to leave one alive and get the information afterwards than try and talk first and get screwed over later.
Do you want to target a certain individual to leave alive, or do you want to just kind of let God sort it all out?
I'm not sure. I mean, we were obviously paid to send the message. I'm just debating if we want this to be a message that they will. How permanent I want this to be.
Well, if give me just a second, and we'll see if we can find out which guy we need to send the message to. He turns to the shopkeeper. Do you have someplace where I can have a seat? So Kay sits down, goes full VR to the spot, and he's looking around to see who has basically the most icons, trying to see if he could find who the leader is, or possibly is. Searching by strength and type of icon, and he just figures the guy with the most stuff is probably going to be the main guy.
Well, other than the fact that 2 of them have cyberware that are active via the Matrix, there's not a lot of difference between the kind of stuff that they're carrying in that way. So just by looking at their icons, it's not easy to tell the difference between the others.
All right. Well, then he sends a message back. He's going to stay in AR and or VR. Okay. There's no telling. I can't identify a leader there. You're the man on site. I think House may want to send in a drone. Maybe he can see what's going on inside.
Yeah, I mean, I can send in my my spotter outside. It's pretty inconspicuous size of insect. Or if you want to really do show of force, I can jump directly into Helmut, and you can literally ride into the charge on the back of a winged Jager.
I think that what we should probably do at this point, I'll get set up to go loud and catch them off guard. We will try one attempt at diplomacy. Case, I'm going to leave that to you. I'll try and figure out which one's the biggest, meanest, baddest, whatever in there, and see if you can't pick up his comm code from, I don't know, do your wushu there, and give him a disarm or else.
Yeah, in case if you can identify somebody who may be the leader, then I can jump into mine scout drone and I can just verbally convey a parlay to them.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to find a leader until some messages start going out. So maybe if you start a ruckus and we start seeing who people are turning to and letting know, I might be able to determine something then.
Well, how about this? I can help to start the ruckus. Can you have Case? Can you come and be here in the I hate to say the real world, but the mundane, non-electronic world for the shopkeeper while I physically relocate closer to the gangers? I may be able to jam the connection to the grid, and once we see who panics and who yells at other people and makes them do something or panic, we might be able to identify a leader.
I may be able to do something and possibly stay here and assist you guys. He calls in. He disengages his program, his agent, from tracking that icon. And are there cameras within the shop? And he looks around for cameras within the shop.
Yeah, inside the shop there are.
Okay, so he's going to have his agent basically watching cameras and alerting if there's any movement other than the shopkeeper and anyone in the group within the store.
Okay, Yonkers, Case is going to secure the shop here. I'm going to recall my flying drone, and I'm going to come in closer to the truck, and I'm going to attempt to jam the comlink connection to the grid from there. So be on the lookout. You as well, Mr. Professor Davros, you may see some movement when this happens.
Just to point out, if you jam the comlinks to the grid, then there's nothing I can do from here.
Right, you're there to simply protect the shop in case, for some reason, they immediately swarm the person we're supposed to protect. So, unfortunately, you are going to be you're our early warning system if the shop comes under attack.
Yeah, I've got my agent watching that. I can actually. That's fine.
All right, if you're going to come in, hey kid, not sure what sort of whiz you're packing, but just make sure no one gets out through the ground floor. I'm going to go from the top down. I don't think they'd expect that.
Well, Mr. Yonkers, if you're going to go in at the top floor, I mean, I could always just make myself invisible or you invisible if you want, and we could go in a little sneaky.
I think that either us or Mr. House needs to keep the ground floor a place that people keep them in the house and keep them fighting on two fronts. So if they have to deal with stuff outside and fire coming in and then someone coming in from on the high ground, I don't think they're going to have a good time.
Well, I can make trouble for them down here.
All right.
Yonkers, your mentor spirit of violence, Lido, he kind of enters into your consciousness and says, "Hey, these gangers, they got a real mouth on them, and they sure do like to show off. I think they might need you to show them a little bit of a lesson, show them who's boss and who they're messing with." You start to feel sort of a general kind of anxiousness, to get out there and crack some skulls.
Okay. Let's get set up. Everybody stay online, but don't talk unless you have something important to say.
So, Mr. Yonkers, when should I start making trouble?
I'll let you know.
Sounds good.
I'll let you know when I get in place, and you can give me the go signal to start jamming them.
What time is it?
Probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now.
All right, so it's pretty much broad daylight too. All right. Yonkers is going to grab. He is going to be making sure he's wearing his respirator, both because it covers his face and because smog sucks.
Yes, and speaking of, the light smog conditions that you're in right now are going to add a -1 modifier if you're outdoors.
If I have low light or thermographic, will that counteract that?
Thermographic vision would would
Okay.
offset that.
All right. Well, I have that on my glasses, so I should be okay.
Once Hauser gets closer to where the truck is located, he's going to remotely pilot the fly spy into the back of the truck and deactivate it. And he's going to stand by, waiting for the signal to start jamming.
Yonkers is going to start making his way to essentially make a circular way around the building, try and find a good method of egress up to the second floor.
Davros, I want to cast improved visibility on myself and then go stand on the porch. All right. I rolled 4 successes.
All right, you are invisible.
All right, and I will go stand on the porch and then wait for Yonkers' signal.
All right, roll a sneaking test.
What does that default to? Agility?
Yes.
Agility -1. 1 die. 0 successes.
All right, you are on the porch. Yonkers heads around outside. There's kind of a fence. The houses in this area are really close together, but this house does have a privacy fence around it. You can stay on the outside of it, and if you do notice that you can easily see through it. Being very, very quiet, you can see that there are 2 gangers standing outside on the back porch. They're just smoking cigarettes. There's no easy way to get up to the second floor at least from the outside.
Does it have some sort of veranda, overhang, balcony, something like that?
No, it doesn't. It's just got straight up windows. It's vinyl siding. Some of it's peeling off, but they're just windows.
All right, so nothing that's going to make my life easy. All right, Yonkers is going to edge slowly around get himself essentially a brief line of sight on these 2, and take a moment or 5 to aim with his Savulette Guardian. And when he feels nice and comfortable, has his breathing nice and even, he's going to try and do a cold shot for one of them in the head, and then try and get the other one before he can knows what the hell's going on.